Okay, so thank you again for your patience here. Hopefully you are seeing a seamless writing process. That's what we wanted to focus on today. And please throw any questions you have in the chat. I'll be hoping to watch that and respond. But if I don't respond immediately here, I'd love to follow up and answer any questions that you have. I'll also share my personal email address so you can contact me with any questions. Especially since, sorry, I missed a little bit of our time. So I want to make sure I get those answered for you. So what we're hoping to do today is just briefly share, except I think you already got a good taste of this, what Lucid for Education is, what tools you have, and then focus in on facilitating easily for students, ideally, brainstorming and organizing. And then we can show you kind of like a sneak peek of some of the other great things you can do to facilitate writing for students. But we can save those for later. So to share with you what is Lucid, I think you were chatting about it, but if you don't mind, this is just 2 minutes, and I'll share this video that gives you kind of a flavor of some of the varied things you can do with these products and tools. And I'm just going to put it inside of Lucid right now.
Lucid Spark in under a minute. Ready? Go. Looking for a way to brainstorm collaboratively? Yeah, we've got that. Or how about a visual way to get a quick temperature check on the room? Got that too. What about a digital whiteboard that you can draw on in real time? Yep. Desperate to get a good, substantial conversation going? Check this out. Okay, long shot. What about breakout boards for station rotations or group discussions? Easy peasy. No, really. And how about a timer to count down a class activity? You already know the answer to that one. That's Lucid Spark in under a minute. Lucid Spark, where ideas ignite. Lucid Chart. Help things make sense by making connections. Take a walk down memory lane with timelines. Or use a Venn diagram to compare and contrast. Visualize a complex idea or system. Even math gurus can geek out over these visualizations. Students can complete tasks individually, or the whole class can join in with real-time collaboration. Anytime you want to map an idea or visualize a flow, open a new Lucid Chart. The possibilities are literally endless. Lucid Chart, where ideas connect. Lucid Press, a design center to help you see the stories that are right in front of you. To give students more visual options for expressing themselves, their ideas, and their insights. To give them real-world design skills. To get students hungry, nostalgic, planning, involved, and career-ready. Lucid Press, where design comes to life.
Okay, so thank you. And let me just jump into the chat. Let me know if you have any questions. I love that you guys already shared great examples. And I will go through this quickly since we have just about half an hour left, I believe, right? So you probably got a feel for these examples of different things you can do. Now I know we want to focus in on writing specifically. So just as you go into thinking about how you may use this with students, for those of you using iPads, Chromebooks, any device, I wanted to make sure I just let you know this is web-based, so it can work on any device, but we do have iOS and Android apps as well for Lucid Spark, Lucid Chart. So whatever device you're using, that should work for your students. It's all real-time collaboration and real-time updates as well. And then I think specifically we'll focus on Google Classroom with this group, since you have access to Google Classroom. I believe Seesaw as well, but we have an integration built in with Google Classroom that I think you'll love. So when you land in Lucid, and you may be familiar with this already. When you land in Lucid, you will see this is your home page. Over here on the left, we have our main toolbar, and we're going to go through that. And then you just see, these are just my documents that I've had open most recently. We can look at the recent ones, the starred ones, or even recommended if we like. But what we'll be talking about today is starting with that big plus new button. Here are those 3 products or tools that we were just talking about in this learning package: Lucid Chart, Lucid Press, Lucid Spark. You don't necessarily need to know which one you want to use though, and I'll show you that. But we can start here and we can create from scratch or from a template. We'll be talking about starting from templates today. So another way you can access templates, again on this left toolbar that we've minimized a bit here, you'll see templates, and you can choose by product, or you can start with all templates. And you'll see I've selected education, and you can just scroll through all the ones that are specific to education. There are a lot though that industry uses, and you may want to check out some of these other categories listed here above education. Or you may come right to the search bar here and type in something you're looking for. Try typing in writing, and you'll see a lot pop up there. So with that kind of quick introduction to the suite, and feel free to put questions in the chat, let's jump into what we're going to take a look at, some recommendations for brainstorming and organizing with students. And I'm actually going to switch over now to a document that I will be sharing with all of you shortly. Okay. Here we go. So in this document, you are going to receive our writing toolkit. And what this will do for you is give you kind of a quick starting place for a bunch of our templates for brainstorming and generating ideas, and for organizing and that focus on pre-write. We've assembled these by working with different educators. So just as a little background, but I don't know if I'm a little out of touch, so please feel free to correct me. But so my background is in English education, teaching English language arts, middle school and high school primarily. And then we've worked with a lot of different English language arts educators through elementary and secondary, or primary and secondary programs, about, and done lots of interviews about writing to learn what would be the most helpful for you. I'm kind of curious if you could throw in the chat for me, if you don't mind, what have you run into are some of the biggest challenges your students experience with writing? So if you don't mind throwing in the chat, like just a thought or question about what are some of the challenges your students face with writing? Starting, okay, Christine, starting, yes. Lack of ideas, Bianca, yeah, generating ideas, planning of ideas and layout, okay. Knowing how to structure ideas and structure, yes. Oh, limited vocabulary, very, yeah, this is all just like resonating with my experience. Also with, character development, with the experience, great, thanks, keep them coming. With the experiences as we've worked with these educators all across the world, saying sometimes writing can be so overwhelming and daunting to our students, right? Oh, stamina is interesting. And so the goal is that we can all be really incredible writing instructors if we have a way to help them take this daunting process and break it down into manageable parts, also so they're not emotionally overwhelmed as well. So we have separated out by brainstorming, because sometimes, like you said, just getting started, even knowing how to get ideas out is so challenging, and then how to organize those ideas. So I will quickly walk through just a few of these examples, then we'll jump in and look at 2, and then we'll work on 1 together, if you don't mind. We'll do that for brainstorming, and we'll do that for organizing as well. So you're probably familiar with a lot of these, and you'll notice when you get this copy, do you kind of see if I click on it, it will open up my own copy of that template. So I just want you to be able to see that that's what will happen for you. And 30 seconds while my computer pulls that up. And now you have your own copy of that template. So we have a describing wheel. We have a mind map, brain writing. So we've seen educators use these from things like, let's describe monarch butterflies and their life cycle, to brain writing. One teacher was having her students brainstorm scary vignettes that they could write as a form of narrative writing. Venn diagrams, comparing frogs and toads, circle maps, alphabet brainstorming. One teacher used this with her students when they were studying some work by Henry David Thoreau, and in helping students address themes. So this was in more of that secondary level. Students were really struggling with theme, and so they go through and generate ideas and names and terms related to each letter of the alphabet. A general bubble map, a response prompt that we'll try, affinity map, where they just get out, this might be, how should our PTA use money that's been given to our school? And so they may get ideas out here and then start to group them together, and even cause and effect, with some students looking at what were the causes of this war and the effects of this war. So we can just open these templates here and get started. To give you a quick idea, what one elementary did was a T-chart. So primary, I should say primary, I'm so sorry. And this, we just kind of see an initial start to, they were working together. This was two students working together. And the topic was, some parents give their kids money for good grades. Do you think students should be paid for good grades? And so they just drag out sticky notes, share their thoughts or ideas, and then we're able to respond to them if we want to. If we want to vote up this idea and say, yeah, I really agree with that idea. Good news, this tells you who responded with the emoji. So we can still encourage good classroom behavior with that. We then have a secondary example from another class, another class. And what they did is use the mind map template we were looking at. They were working on personal narratives and just started building out, collecting. So what are some points in your life? And the teacher could even populate if we need to help give more ideas. Okay, so I want you to think about your childhood or your teenage years, or what were your low points or what were your high points? And then they can just continue to build on as many as they need. And we can do some exercises that help with elaborating here as well, which I think is something that we mentioned here, right? So I would like to try this together, if you don't mind. And I'm going to share with you a couple of different ways you could get this out to students. We'll use one way here in chat, just since we're not all in the same Google account right now. But we come up here to the top right corner with our share button, and I am going to click on the link, and I'm going to click on, and I'm going to change this to anyone with the link. And you'll notice I can then set my permissions. I'm going to say edit. I'm going to say edit there. And one other quick little tip, it has linked to current selection. So hopefully when you open this up, your screen will go to exactly what I'm trying to show you right here. There are a couple other ways we can do this. If you're using an LMS like Google Classroom, you can just copy this link, put it in an assignment you send out to students. If you want students to have their own individual copy, not work together. So if you want students to do this brainstorm by themselves, what we do is we get a shared link, but we change this to view. And that's the link we send out to students. And then when they open it, they just come over to the top left and click duplicate. And now they have their own copy. So just however you want to do it, if you want to leverage Google Classroom to share, or if you want to just send it out on your own and they can make their own copy. So let me give you this link now. There's also, just as a little teaser, a join ID. We can talk about that later, but if that's something of interest to you, that could be really powerful for you as well. I have already turned on here collaborator colors. So that means as you come in, you'll be assigned a color. You'll come over to the left-hand side, you'll drag out a sticky note and just go ahead and start typing. What are some uses for a toothbrush, some creative uses for a toothbrush that we could have? So let me put this in the chat now. And if you don't mind all clicking on that link, it should hopefully jump you to this frame. If not, I'll teach you a trick to get you all jumped to exactly where I am on the screen. But hey, this is looking great. Seeing you all pop in here. Feel free to come over to the left and just drag out. Yes, okay. I have used it for that before, cleaning the shower grout. Feel free to respond to others if you would like. And emoji, if that's something you've done, if you want to. One note, it can be overwhelming for students to see cursors. So I have turned cursors off. Sometimes I, as the educator, really like to have the cursors on, but we often direct students to turn the cursors off. That's a setting that you will probably want to do on your own. So you just come to this top up here, you click on show cursors and make sure that's turned off in case that's overwhelming. Look at all of these. These are great. Brushing and Pepsi, cleaning computer keys. Oh, a clay tool. Okay, cleaning jewelry, polish, brushing a doll's hair. Yes, cleaning the keyboard. Okay, great. Cleaning the keyers. Okay. Yes, this is wonderful. Thank you. One other quick little tip. You guys jumped right in and we're working right away. If our students are lost, or if I want to discuss something like splatter painting, let's talk about that. Let's dive into that more. What I am going to do is open up my facilitator panel. So I am a facilitator, and if you see in the top right, the little person at the podium or the speaker, I am going to, this is what you all turn on as educators, okay? So secret hint, this I love because it gives us our classroom management back. We take the lead, and now if you were somewhere else on the screen, it jumps you to where I am. And so that's a quick way for me to get everyone's attention, jump you to where I am, and have you move with me. I'm going to stop doing that. But just likewise, if I were wondering where one of my students were, sometimes I might say, where is this student? I would just click on that icon and go follow that person. So right now I'm following Christine and seeing where she is going. There are other things we can do with that, but just so you know, that's one way we can kind of get to see where our students are and see the collaboration. So you could have all the students brainstorm together. You could also have them brainstorm individually, just using some of these graphic organizers, right? Like this mind map was an individual brainstorm. One other little thing though, if that's okay, that I'll share with you. If you want to have one place where you have all your students brainstorming, but they're working independently or maybe in pairs or partners, that's when I use breakout boards. So if you don't mind looking on the left-hand side, you'll see these breakout boards with a plus sign. I've created, I'm going to close our collaborator colors. I've created 3 breakout boards. So this is for a class that was doing argumentative essays, and partnerships actually chose different topics. So you'll see one chose parents should be responsible for childhood obesity, but you're not going to see anything in here. And what we would do is just assign our 2 partners to this board. And then I, as the educator, or my students could insert the template that I want. And so maybe for this, we'll say we want a Venn diagram as a template for them to start brainstorming or getting some ideas going. We could do anything we want here, but you'll notice I can search here, or I can just go to our standard templates go to education, find a template that I want. Let me scroll down a little bit to see which one I might want for this. You know what? I will use sticky note voting right now. Okay, so we say insert this template. It goes with me anywhere, drops in, and then students can start using this structure. So that's something you could do as well, as have students in breakout boards, and that gives you as the educator the opportunity to jump into these breakout boards, see what the students are doing, and give feedback. Any questions that you have about that per se? Okay, so if you don't mind, I'm going to go back to this writing toolkit. Do you mind? Oh, and good question. Yes, all of you should have this, I believe, full premium access. Karen might help me know if I'm speaking incorrectly there, but you and all of your students, I believe, should have full access to this.
Brittany, I think every, well, as far as I know, most dioceses, if not all dioceses, have paid subscription. So yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good point. Sorry, you do have a paid subscription. So I guess I mean, yeah, this is provided to you. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. So if you don't mind, we will switch because I know we have just about 10 to 15 minutes left. But do you mind just quickly in the chat telling me, again, this is just a sampling of the templates, but you are going to have this sampling to reference. Do you mind telling me which of these stand out to you as a template you might want to use with students? Or alternatively, will you post in here a template you would want, a brainstorming template you would want that you use? And I will promise we'll get that built in for you in the next week. Oh, Lotus chart. Okay, Kelly, we have Lotus charts. I'm going to add it to this toolkit that you have. Yep, I will get that added. Absolutely. Cool. Okay, so I see mind map, brain writing, the hamburger. Good. Any others? Oh, cause and effect. Okay, awesome. So then, if you don't mind, we'll jump over to organizing or pre-writing. So I had students who just froze at needing to generate ideas. And I've seen a lot of success with using any of these scaffolds or graphic organizers to help them start to know how to get some ideas down on paper, whether it's by themselves or us as a class. But then I had students freeze with, where do I go from those ideas? And it became really overwhelming to think I have to go just from those ideas into writing something. And so that's where, like, probably like you've experienced, these graphic organizers come in very handy in helping walk students through that process. And then the benefit is, like, we're also teaching them a good writing process as well, right? So here we have, I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit more. Again, all of these are linked, so they take you directly to your own copy of the template. So we have the writing outline, narrative organizer, hamburger outline, newspaper article outline, research paper outline, persuasion map, essay outline, story map. There's this version is for like primary grades 1 through 3. And then in this, we also have a version for slightly older advanced students as well. Timeline, actually, T-chart as well, sequence flow, 5Ws graphic organizer, tree map, problem solution, how to write a claim or topic sentence, essay planning, another essay planning, narrative writing, compare and contrast. We threw in a poem one too, and Foursquare writing. Do you mind telling me to, actually, I'll hold on to that thought. I will show you a couple of examples, and then I'll come back and ask you which of these resonate with you, or what other ones would you like us to add to this toolkit for you. So I am going to move down now to our elementary example. And I think you kind of know where this is going. Oh, Freyer. Okay, Crystal, we do have Freyer. So I will get that added in as well. Thank you. That's another great suggestion. So by tomorrow, I'll get this toolkit updated for you with those ones you're saying. So here is one from a grade 3 class, and you can tell that they have just started, they haven't totally finished, but the teacher shared this with me. And it was based off this concept of, should students be paid for earning good grades at school? And they had brainstormed this, right? And then now coming here, they put in some details. People are paid for the jobs they do. For students, school is their job. And so then they just add a few more, and you'll notice you just double click to start typing is how this is set up. You could also just have it empty as well. And they just start typing. That is a gibberish word, and have this structure now and can be getting feedback on it. A quick secondary example from the personal memoir, continuing on, that student chose learning another language. And so they started to map out what was the process and the benefits of learning this additional language. And so I'm going to ask all of you, if you don't mind, to come back up here, and we'll just practice elaboration a little bit more. And I am going to, again, take the lead. So bringing all of you to where I am on the screen. And do you mind just jumping off of one you wrote? And I'll show you what you can do here. You can, or actually, sorry, I don't even mean one you wrote. If you don't mind jumping off of one you wrote or one someone else wrote, if you notice, I can click add the same object, or I can add a different object to it. So when I click on it, I see the arrow, and I could add just a text box here. And if you'll elaborate onto this and tell us why, what's a benefit of this? What would be a benefit of using a toothbrush in this way? So I'll get my idea down here. And it was, what was my idea for toothbrush? Oh, good. Okay, so I see some going here. Like, so the kids aren't using my hairbrush to brush their doll's hair. It's good. Oh, and yes, thank you so much. I will give you the link again. I appreciate that. Let me send, oh, and Karen did already. Karen, you're on top of it. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go in and ask or answer a question here. Yes, Kelly, that's a really good point. Absolutely. What you can do is take this link that we have, and we can change this share link to be view only, or we can just quickly come in here. Let's see, Karen, if you don't mind, I'm going to do this to you, and I'm just going to quickly say your view, and then it does lock the final product. Yeah, that's a really good question, Kelly. One other, I'll edit that back. One other point I would make about this, sorry, real fast, is, and you may not see it here, but I'm going to scroll over a bit. One value to these templates is we can lock them down. And so just for example, you may see I have this template locked down and this frame locked down. And all that means is just click on that lock. And what that does is now students won't get distracted by a template moving around per se. You can have points that they can edit if you want, points that are locked down. So it's just up to you how much control or ability you want students to have to move things around. But sometimes that can really help structure students to focus just on like the content and not get lost with anything else. Okay, so I love the emoji responses, and the responses we have here. Oh, okay, yeah, scratches the surface, exploring the clay, gets into the small space easily. Okay, perfect. So I'll stop presenting there. One other thing I'll show you, because I know we are almost at time, is, sorry, let me just zoom in. At the bottom of this page, you have the writing toolkit now. So you have links to all of these templates here. And then I've also included, and I'll move these over, 2 short videos that remind you of how you can share these templates with students, and also a quick little PDF handout if you want that to be able to know how you could get templates over to students. I love this idea, teaching biographies. Students can find information online, input it on the post before ordering on a timeline. Yeah, no, I really like that. So if you guys don't mind, I know we have just about 3 minutes. There's one last thing that I would like to share with you, if that's okay, just to kind of, I would start with templates, but just to give a teaser of what we can talk about next time when I'm not late. If you don't mind, I'm just navigating on my screen to a few examples, but I think you all were already sharing fantastic examples of this. So those were, I don't want to duplicate that. That was awesome to see.
Brittany, just while you're getting a share up, I'll just let people know that we've got 3 more sessions with Brittany late in term 3 and one, I think, in term 4, and it's following on from today's session as well. So if you'd like to join those through the CLO event, that would be wonderful.
So thank you, Karen. So just a quick little teasers of where we can go next. This is actually really powerful, some of these graphic organizers, for them being able to give students feedback right away, and feedback on their ideas as they're forming. I'm sure you all have experienced this. I don't know why this was revelatory to me in college, but I had a professor sit me down and say, Brittany, writing is about thinking. And why was that revolutionary to me? I don't know, but she sat with me and helped me rethink my ideas and reorder them. And so I saw the power with my students on being able to go look at their thinking here and make comments. So we can make comments here, which I love that Kelly did. And that gives students instant feedback on a specific place before they then write it out. So we're not waiting until we get their essay or something at the end. So we can give them feedback. One other thing we'll be talking about in the future is we can record, or students can record feedback. So I've seen incredible things done with peer feedback, or teacher recording, or a student explaining what they're doing, but it's really fast and easy with this record button up here. We just click start and you can start talking, and now you leave feedback for students in a way that might resonate with them. And then last thing that we'll be talking about in the future, just some other ways that they could communicate their writing in ways that aren't just maybe the typical essay format. So here was one class that used a template as they were researching different historical figures, one that was researching mental disorders. And this was the template that was given, but it helped structure their thinking. Other classes made brochures, and we have lots of templates for those. This is just collecting research. So I think there was an idea here like, hey, we could just collect research, kind of map out the research, and then organize it using a graphic organizer. One created an ABC book. And so this was actually collaborative. This was grade 7. And so the students each got a letter and had a historical figure who was prominent in civil rights. And they wrote about, so each student had a page where they put their informational writing that they had done research about for that person. This is hyperlinked. Let me see if this is actually a science class. And so all their different students wrote, their papers are just embedded on the website, but you can click on these and see the structures they use to communicate. And they liked Obviously, they're writing paragraphs, which were not a Word document, right? But they were including images to support that. So that is why they like doing that there. And then this is just to let you know, I've seen some super cool magazines that have come out of classes that work together in groups. And one teacher used this template actually to have students write a biography. And so I think I saw a note about that as well as part of an informational text unit. So thank you guys so much for your patience. I know we're at time. I will stop there and I'll update this writing toolkit. You all have this document, but I'll get it out to Karen with an email when I update it with the 2 templates we talked about. But again, I'll send my email as well. Please let me know if there are any other templates you would like to. And sorry, I realized I did not do a good job sharing. Just at the bottom, I'm going to call you all to me one more time. Sorry, right here, take the lead. Kind of at the bottom here, we have resources. Here's the writing toolkit. And these links here will take you to your copy of the templates. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I really appreciate it.
Brittany, thank you so much for jumping in. Chris, also thank you to you for jumping in. And I've learned a lot today, and I'll be a little bit more organised when I do the next Lucid session. So really appreciate your time, Brittany. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
And I've put a link in the chat to an evaluation form. If you could take a moment to do that as well, I would appreciate it. All right, excellent. Have a good rest of CLOS for 2022. Thanks, everyone.